with all the cameo fighters, and that's where you see, that's where the player's kind of imagination comes in, and they can actually customize it for what they like seeing, the best team-ups.
Well, so how does that work? So you're in gameplay, you have your main, you have your cameo. How do you summon them? Is it time-based? Like, how often do they come in? It's not
Liu Kang, Sub-Zero. Kano, Gage Mansion.
Your actions cost lives, Bihan.
They were in the Lin Kuei's best interests.
Did you catch that? Not that Bihan is Sub-Zero in this iteration of Liu Kang's new era of Mortal Kombat, but let's look at the comments. Just the simple fact that we can actually transition straight into dialogue and battle instead of waiting in a loading screen makes me so happy. I'll miss the 3-part dialogue exchanges, but I can't deny that that transition is very stylish. I absolutely love the lack of a loading screen and smoothly transitioning into a fight. Gotta be honest, I still prefer the intros where they do the cool thing first then talk, but this does make it more cinematic. The smooth transition from dialogue to fight is so cool, and I love these designs, especially Katana. This character select straight into match is incredible. And I'm glad people are noticing this transition, because this is something that is very noticeable in a lot of games, is the loading screens. Now let's look at some past iterations and see how the loading screens work for them. So that was MK10, this one's MK11. You'll notice that the load times differ between PS4 and PS5, PS5 being the fastest, and I believe that what you saw in MK1 was running PS5, because otherwise this thing could easily take 14 seconds, which is notable, and it's not enjoyable for a lot of people to watch these things play out, aka the progress bar playing. When you use a website or an app, have you ever noticed these gray boxes, gray circles, right before the content loads? Whether it's Facebook or YouTube? Well, they're called skeleton loaders. Well, you might be wondering, what's a skeleton loader? Well, let me get into some explanation, because the simplest terms is that a skeleton loader is a static animated placeholder for the information that is still loading, and in this case, Mortal Kombat's loading the stage. As you've seen in the previous iterations, especially if it's on a PS5, Mortal Kombat doesn't take much time to load. 1 second if it's on a PS5, and there's no point to flash a loading screen if it's just 1 second. So it's easy for them to just overlay a brief character interaction, and then in the background, as you've seen, it's blurred. That's a placeholder for the stage to load. And since there is a central point to where the stage is, then you can keep that kind of graphic there until the full 3D is rendered, fade that blurred block of graphics, and it's a very smooth transition. Very cinematic, as one person mentioned. And that smoothness is a part of user experience design. Famous writer and philosopher Aldous Huxley mentions that speed, it seems to me, provides the one genuinely modern pleasure. And in a 2013 study of the effects of modern web performance on emotional engagement, it found that a few milliseconds resulted in a 26% increase in user frustration and 8% drop in engagement, and slow sites dramatically reduced the measured emotional dimensions around purchase intent and brand functionality. And in the realm of systems thinking, looking at the learnings of other industries and other mediums can translate into what is relevant to you in the now. So even though those insights are for mobile design or even for websites, and that we do apply it in UX on those mediums, it's very much relevant in video games. And so the lesson here is that the faster you can get to the player's intended actions and purposes, the more engaged they become, the more trusting they become, the more they enjoy it. It is an experience after all. So please take that into account when designing for products. And let's take one last review of this beautiful transition. Good job to NetherRealm Studios for doing this. It's great that people appreciate it, and hey, people appreciate good UX.
Gage Mansion.
Your actions cost lives, Bihan.
They were in the Lin Kuei's best interests.
NetherRealm Studios, once again, great work.